Hey, what's good, barbecue family? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we're kicking off part 2 of the healthy cooking series. I got a beautiful Mediterranean chicken bowl coming your way. Let's jump right to it. The music. It's time to get this Mediterranean bowl popping. First thing we're gonna be doing is making some fresh salsa. Super easy to do. You could have did it with your own seasonings. I like this package that I was able to get in my grocery store. I've used this before. Literally all I need is 5 of these Roman tomatoes that I'm about to chop up. I'm using 1/4 of this onion unless you want more. And then all we're gonna do is put this seasoning over it. Toss it right over here into the old bowl with a top on it, and it's going to sit in the refrigerator. You want it to go in there for at least half hour to an hour. Let all of these spices and everything kind of marry together. And I tell you what, this is amazing as far as a fresh salsa. No artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. Easy enough. I'm telling you what, you want some good chopped diced tomatoes, don't get a regular tomato. Too much in the middle that I end up personally throwing out as far as that whole whitey stem part. But if you want some good fleshy, the outer part, Roman tomatoes is the way to go. Not so much to get rid of in the middle, but you do get quite a bit. But those 5 tomatoes is in there, and that's nothing but 1/4 of that red onion that I had there. So I mean, keep in mind when you dicing that thing up, it doesn't take that much to get a decent amount of onion. Wifey loves onion, so I probably could have put in more, but this is where we're gonna stop it. All I'm about to do now, toss this little seasoning pack in here from Concord Fresh Success. Stir this thing up. We'll toss it in the fridge. Here we go. Tell me that don't look good. Obviously, I could have bought up my own pico or something like that. But I'm going to tell you what, ain't nothing like getting your own fresh tomatoes in there. You can also use canned tomatoes. Again, that's nothing like fresh tomatoes. And then by making it fresh, I don't got all the preservatives and stuff that you might get out of general salsa. So this is what I like to do. Don't take too long. Throw this in the fridge. Let's move on to getting this chicken together. First things first, I got this nice big pack of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I grabbed this at Sam's. Literally $15 for 5 pounds of chicken. Can't go wrong with this. I'm going to have more than enough for some high protein meals. I'm going to get this cleaned up and rinsed off, and then I'll meet you back over here at the cutting board. As you can see, we got all the ingredients laid out nice and pretty for you. Nothing too crazy, but it will be nice and flavorful. Basically, right here, we're going to start off with, we got about 5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs that you saw already. Coming right on over to this chili powder that we got here. This is about 7.5 teaspoons. Same thing with that ground cumin at 7.5 teaspoons. On both salt, you're looking at about 5 teaspoons and about, a teaspoon and a half of black pepper, and then both of olive oil, roughly just a little short of 3/4 of a cup, and about 3/4 of a cup of some chopped up fresh cilantro, along with 6 limes is what we're going to be popping in here. So we're going to get all of these things added right in here to this chicken. We're going to mix it up, and then we're going to put it together. And I'm going to start with a little bit of the wet stuff first. Get some of this oil in here. This will help me with mixing everything up. Olive oil. Actually, I think I said I used olive oil. I actually used avocado oil today. Similar idea. Get you a nice healthy oil. I think we talked about it before. One of my favorites is using avocado oil. High cooking point, or high smoke point, should I say. But it's also a very healthy oil. Very clean. Doesn't have a whole lot of taste to it. Definitely a nice one to cook with. A little bit of this salt. And I always kind of start mixing it around just so it's not so much. I almost hate when I see videos, they just put everything in one big pile. And I just know you're going to have to kind of break that off of that one chicken breast that's going to have everything. But they always seem to do a good job of getting it around. Oh well, different folks, different strokes. And then, look at that green coming up out of there. Let me grab my juicer for these limes. There we go. Get that lime going. Pardon my reach. It's a big lime we got right there. This is pretty much the end. Here we go. We got everything we need in the pool. I tell you what, I can always smell that smell of cumin. Such a good seasoning. Let's get this mixed up. Good enough on my end. All we're going to do now is I'm going to cover this up, toss this over into the refrigerator. You want this to stay easy at least 20 minutes to really get that flavor in there. You can do as far as up overnight. But we're going to be live leaving it in here for a few hours. I'll meet you back. And out of our fridge, I decided to go ahead and go over tonight. So it's bright and early. Let's get this thing knocked out. I'm about to slide it right over here to a nice warm griddle. I'm going to cook it respectfully slow today. I'm at about 300 degrees. We'll get a good sear on both sides before I chop this up into cubes. But let me load this thing up. Team, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know thanks for following along on today's cooking. If you're new to the channel, go to the bottom right corner, make sure you subscribe, check out some of those videos you've missed, and if you haven't done it already, find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. Here we go. Now we got us a nice layered up pack of chicken, 5 pounds over here, cumin smelling beautiful. I'm gonna let these get a good 3 to 5 minutes. Start to get us a good sear on one side, then we'll flip them over once we get it about halfway. Meanwhile, let's work on these sides. We can knock out this rice and these beans. This is gonna come together quick. Okay, and then in this pot, I'm about to start with this rice. I got 3 cups of water in here. I need to get this up to a boil. There we go. So I'm gonna start this off on high. Once this comes up to the boil, I'm coming with 3 cups of rice in here. We'll reduce it down and let it simmer. This will be together quick. Right, we got this water boiling. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt to it, along with 3 cups, and I'm just using some minute white rice, nothing too crazy. And then we're gonna get this removed from the heat, and I'm gonna let this sit covered for about 5 minutes. Okay, we got some color on some of these, so I'm gonna start pulling some of these off. I don't need to finish them. I'm gonna cube this back up and throw them back on there for a hot second. So let's pull a few of these ones with a little bit of the color. We'll let a couple of them keep cooking, and we'll start chopping. While you're finishing up that chicken, I'm finishing up this rice at the same time. I got a lime that I just cut in half that we're going to squeeze, about 5 tablespoons of butter that we're going to be adding. Just chopped up some fresh cilantro. I'd say this is roughly about 1/4 of a cup. You can add in whatever you like, and we're going to go from there. Let's go get this in. We'll stir it in. Perfect looking rice. It has absorbed all of that water. We'll mix this butter around. Get us a little bit of flavor. We already added a little bit of salt, so I'm not too worried. We'll squeeze out a little bit more of this lime. Here we go. Now you get a better squeeze on that lime. Now let's get the cilantro in. So easy to make this rice. Get it green in there. It's Chipotle style. Let's get it all mixed up. We're gonna do this even a little bit left-handed. It looks so beautiful seeing that green just start to mix in here, nice and easy. You can smell that lime from here. I'm not adding any more salt. We added a little salt to the water, and I know we're gonna have a whole lot of flavor in everything else. Look at that. I wish you could smell this chicken. I'm telling you what, man, these thighs, juicy like Lucy. So much liquid down in there. Look at that, look at that. These babies ain't even completely done. We're about to cube them up. I'll toss them back over there on the griddle. I wiped it down so I don't get too much sticking. We'll let it finish up just a little bit. Rice is already done. Beans will come down quick. We got a couple optional items and we ready to rock. Okay, so I'm gonna get me a saucepan over here with about medium heat. What I got is 2 cans. You see I went with the reduced sodium cans of black beans. These are already drained, so you notice there's not much liquid in here. I'm just gonna be using those beans there. What I got is about a teaspoon of salt that I'll be adding. I got about a teaspoon, a little over a teaspoon of chili powder, and about a teaspoon and a half of some cumin. I'm gonna let these just get warm, stir these up, try not to mash your beans all up, and then these will be ready. Meanwhile, I told you we wipe this back down, that way I don't get too much sticking. I got my heat pretty much back up to 300. I'm gonna bring those chunks over here, pour those out, and let those get crisp. And there we go, beans is all mixed up. And you know what, I made a mistake. I'm going back and forth on my seasonings. you didn't have nowhere near that much salt. You barely had about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt that went in there. You had about a teaspoon of the cumin, along with another teaspoon of the, or half a teaspoon of the chili powder. And for the chicken, we're just gonna get it back out here. You can see most of it look like it got done. I'm just gonna mix it back around, give it a second to enjoy this griddle. We pretty much ready to rock. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Alright, it didn't take too long. Just need to get these beans more or less warm. I don't want to turn them in soft and mushy, but I tell you what, great flavor on here. Again, if you haven't used it before, cumin is really a great seasoning. It really shines through and you can really taste that thing. But beans. My chicken is good to go. I don't want to overcook that. Just needed to give it a little kiss. Tasted a piece of that. Wow. Man, it is some flavor on these. Okay, let's talk about an optional item. I got some romaine lettuce here. I went ahead and already rinsed it off, as you can see. Trimmed off the stem, so I'm just looking at the leaves. I want to lay all of these flat, and I'm going to be cutting these across the grain just to make some additional romaine lettuce. If you want this, an optional step, I want to add a little bit to mine. I thought I'd bring you back just to show you what I did. Rolled this up into like almost a little bit of a ball. Got them in there as straight as I can, and now I'm cutting those slices. Kind of gives you those long strips of lettuce. I like it like that. Artwork is done. We got 6 of these babies kind of put up to the side. A little extra. Put some to the side for wifey. We're going to garnish these babies up. We're going to take some of these little rolls of a little green I put in there. We'll mix all of this up once it's time to eat. And then I also want to make sure that we add in a little bit of that salsa that has been sitting overnight. So that's going to be all right. Get a little bit of this lettuce on here. Make this bowl a little fresher. A little more pressure. Man, we about to be back in the game, baby. Once again, fresh out the refrigerator. Here's that salsa. You notice how after it's been sitting, it's made its own little bit of juice, so it's more salsa-like and less like the pico. Tons of good flavor that we're gonna go in here, and we do not need much, but you use as much as you like. I'm just gonna give a nice little dollop right there on each one of these. So when I mix it all up, I just got a little extra oomph, just to make these a little more fire. Now when my wife get a hold of this, she is a little more heavy-handed, so I'll make sure I leave her plenty. Bow. If I had my little pretty clear bowls, I would have used those, but I'm not too worried, truthfully. For me, hardest part is having it all ready. There they go. Pretty and easy. Just like that, we got that thing done, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that bowl is fire. That chicken is on point. I got that recipe from following a lady on Instagram, Maxine, with Maxie's Kitchen, I believe it is. I'll be sure to throw that link in there for you to check it out. But I tell you what, this meal was beautiful. It was high in protein, respectfully low in fat overall. You can mix out some of those ingredients. I liked it. Those beans, whew, with little to nothing. You know, you think about, you drain off some of that sodium, add in your own at the end of the day, and some of that seasoning. But those beans came out great, along with that rice, which pretty much, that meal right there reminded me of Chipotle, but probably was better. You could easily say you want to take the rice out of there and just maybe put that over a bed of romaine lettuce or something like that for a little bit lower carb. But keep in mind, those boneless, skinless thighs, every 3 ounces is about 20 grams of protein. That's a lot of bang for your buck when you really look at it. I mean, I had 5 pounds of chicken once I cooked that whole thing up. So each one of mine, I make sure it has tons of chicken in each one, more than so much of the sides. But at the end of the day, the idea is to be able to show you some ways that you can still get out here and cook, whether you're doing it more or less in the house, or whether you step on out here outside, throw it on the grill or whatever have you. Put together something that's nutritious, make it a lot easier on yourself during the week to have that meal right there so you can just grab it and kind of go. It sets yourself up for success, and in the long run, it'll get you where you want to be a hell of a lot easier.
not too hard to make these steps. You can still have some delicious food. I really enjoyed that recipe. I'll probably be using that chicken recipe, if nothing else, and some other things, and maybe mix up my sides and kind of switch that up. That's gonna be fun. But I really appreciate y'all checking this out. The Healthy Cook series is alive now. We're gonna be keeping this thing going. I'll stick to more or less, like I said, cooks inside, but it'll be something simple that we can get together to get through these weeks and get to another football weekend. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all watching. Shouts out to my boys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue, all my family, and you out there in TV land. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.